Welcome into the NFL War Room Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Stopsky. It is Mock Draft Monday. After a crazy free agency week, it is time to revisit the mock draft. We did one last week, which within a matter of hours became old because of some the news came fast and quick. Last week, I was on the air with was producing a show with Alex Marvez on Monday, and he was commenting on how this is the craziest he ever saw the first day of free agency tampering period in his career. And I agree. It seemed like every 10, 15 minutes, another huge star was coming off the board. So we are essentially done with free agency. We're already on a third wave. So it moved very quick. So it's time now to look at what this did for the draft. Right. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look at some other mock drafts. I did a mock yesterday as well, just to kind of see where my head would be at. But I want to take a look at obviously Charlie Campbell's draft that was posted this morning, and Trevor Sikkema's draft that was posted this morning. Let's start with Chicago. Chicago traded Justin Fields to Pittsburgh. They are now squarely in the I have to take a quarterback phase, right? At this point, there's no one else on the roster you're walking day one with. They have to take Caleb Williams. They have to. Pick 2 gets a little interesting because Trevor Sikkema has Washington taking Drake May. Charlie hasn't taken Jaden Daniels. I am starting to think that Drake May is going to end up as QB4. It seems like it's a Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Matt Jones situation all over again. Lance Zierlein came out and was talking about it, saying how he's never seen such a bigger disparity between media and teams when it comes to a quarterback like JJ McCarthy. And that reminds me a lot of what he was talking about with Trey Lance. In 2021, when I was producing for Austin Gale and Mike Renner, the PFF draft show for Sirius, Lance came on and said, "Hey, it's going to be Trey Lance. It's going to be Trey Lance, number 3 to San Fran, not Mac Jones." And it was early in that time. So when Lance talks about this kind of stuff, I trust him. So I think this is going to end up being Jaden Daniels at pick 2 here. And then with pick 3, the Vikings are moving up. We're not going to do any other trades outside this one, but the Vikings are absolutely moving up. And to me, it makes just too much sense for the Patriots. They need more players, right? They are not a quarterback away. We did a whole video on this last week. They are not a QB away. With that said, I think they are moving up for JJ McCarthy. Some of you are going to be like, how, why is it not Drake May? And listen, I agree with you. I do. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be JJ. The Cardinals stay there and take Marvin Harrison. That is not changing. They need Marvin Harrison. Not like in so much like they actually need him, but like the way that the Cardinals feel about Marvin Harrison, from what I've been told, is they need Marvin Harrison. They need him. I know they've talked about wanting to move off, but that's just not the case. They want Marvin Harrison Jr. Going into last week, I said that I mocked them having the Chargers taking Malik Neighbors. And I said, there is a chance that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both not on the Chargers come the end of the week. And I was right. They are both gone. Mike Williams is a free agent as of recording this, and Keenan Allen is now on the Bears. Jim Harbaugh is not going to roll out Quentin Johnson as receiver 1 week 1. They're going to have to take a receiver, and I think they take Malik Neighbors here. I think there was a significant gap between Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze in teams' minds, not in media minds. I actually like Rome Odunze more, but I think in teams' minds, Malik Neighbors is still the guy. On to the New York Giants. This one I I kind of wrestle with. So I'm having John Schmelk on, who does the pre and post game stuff for the New York Giants and also hosts a podcast for them. I'm gonna have him on tomorrow to talk about the New York Giants and what they've done and what they still have to do. Joe Shane has done a great job preparing for this draft and through free agency by eliminating need, right? They don't need a quarterback. They don't need a receiver. They don't need offensive line help. They can use it, absolutely. But if they walked out week one with that group, it would still be a decent group. There are some other teams that we'll talk about that if they rolled out week one, they would have 10 starters. The Giants are not like that. The Giants have 11 solid starters on offense and defense. But in terms of the guys available here, Drake May, Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, they still have starters at all those levels. Now you can talk about, does Brock Bowers go here with Darren Waller kind of hinting at retiring? It's a little high for a tight end, but not out of the question, right? But I think for the New York Giants, Drake May falling to 6 is a great thing for them. And they draft Drake May, and I think he sits on the bench for a year or at least a half a year while Daniel Jones starts again for the New York Giants. All right, as for the Tennessee Titans, they need offensive line help. Charlie Walter Purple has them taking Joe Alt now that he's available, pick 7. Trevor has them taking Joe Alt. I had them taking Joe Alt last night. I'm going to continue with this pick. This seems to make the most sense. Joe Alt going 7 to Tennessee. 8 is starting to look like Dallas Turner is the consensus pick. I agree that Dallas Turner is probably the pick there. Now that they have their QB situation figured out and all their receivers figured out, they need another, their edge rushers are good, but not great. And I think someone like Dallas Turner could really put them over the top. Now we're here at Chicago. There is talk about Chicago moving up for a receiver. However, I'm not sure that's necessary because Rome Odunze is going to fall to 9. I do truly believe that. And I think this is going to be where he goes. I know they don't need a receiver, right? Because they have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. But Keenan Allen is on the back 9 of his career. Having Rome Odunze slot in there as a third option, that's you want to surround Caleb Williams with as much talent as possible. And I think Allen, Moore, Odunze, they have a bunch of good tight ends, some good backs. You're putting them in a really good spot to succeed there. Number 10, the New York Jets. So the New York Jets grabbed Tyron Smith in free agency and Morgan Moses through a trade. So they no longer need tackle. They don't need a tackle. And because they no longer need a tackle, this puts them in a spot where they can get the best player available. And just imagine pairing Brock Bowers with Aaron Rodgers. That needs to happen. So Brock Bowers goes way late in my first mock. In my second mock, Brock Bowers now goes down to the top 10. All right. The New England Patriots at number 11. Obviously, they are not going to be mocked anywhere because they haven't made this trade yet. But to me, the Pats need offensive line help. They don't really have a left tackle at the moment. And that's good because Olufashano of Penn State, who should be a top 10 pick, is going to fall to them here at 11, which is a great play, right? I think I had a chance to watch a bunch of the tackles over the weekend. I like Fashanu a lot. I think he can move right or left, but they have a Wenu right now. Do Wenu kick inside? I don't, probably not. Although they do have Okafor, but that's like a 1-year rental. So I do think the Fashanu move here is a solid move, getting your tackle there. The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos here are the first team that I think is going to have to reach. Right now, their starting quarterback is Jarrett Stidham. Not what you want. Not what you want. So I think here's Bo Nix. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of questions. Does Bo Nix, is he really a first round quarterback? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters because Denver needs a quarterback. Now, unlike the Giants that have solidified all their areas and now can take the best of the positions they want, the Broncos need a quarterback. So Bo Nix goes to 12. 13 for the Raiders. Charlie has them with J.C. Latham. Trevor has them with Terrion Arnold. I had them with Talisa Fuaga. I agree. I think Fuaga is actually rising on boards right now. I had a chance I really like Fuaga. He is a tough kid, man. He is old school offensive lineman, can drive you back, man. I think he do great on the Raiders. So let's pair him right there. Pick 13. Boom. Pick 14. The New Orleans Saints. Trevor has the Saints with Olufashanu. He's already gone, so he can't do that. And Charlie has one with Olufashanu. So that is interesting. I had them with Jared Verse. All right, so let's take a look. J.C. Latham is already gone in Charlie's mock. And I think Jared Verse is already gone in Charlie's mock at this point. For Trevor, J.C. Latham's still available. So is I'll see if right. Yeah, so he's already available, and so is Verse. Interesting. I still feel pretty good. I know they need tackle help, right? I know they need tackle help. But I think Jared Verse is a phenomenal edge rusher. Getting him here at 14, I think is the move for New Orleans. And I know that a lot of the move behind why you take Olufashanu is because of the concerns around Trevor Penning. But, if Fashanu's there, I get it. But J.C. Latham is really a right tackle, and Trevor's playing left. So you're not moving him over to left tackle. I'm not sure he's any better than Trevor Penning at this point. And Troy Fautanu from Washington, he's might be a guard. So I think if Olufashanu falls to 14, yes, I agree. That's a pick for New Orleans, but he's not there. And if that's the case, Jared Verse. All right, for the Colts, Trevor has him with Brock Bowers. He's already gone this mock. And Charlie has Quinion Mitchell. I am working under the assumption that the L'Jarius Sneed trade is happening. And if that is the case, they can move off corner. There's not really a receiver that you're going to take here. I think you bolster up the edge defense and you get Lwete Latu from UCLA, who's only falling because of injury concerns. Without the injury concerns, he's a top 6 player. This kid's incredible. So now there's a run edge defenders here, and I think that's probably the move. For Seattle, here Charlie has Talisa Fuaga going there, and Trevor has Jackson Powers Johnson. I happen to agree with Trevor here. They need a center. There's no one there right now. Jackson Powers Johnson probably goes a little bit earlier than he probably should. But again, the Seahawks don't have anyone there right now. So they need a center. On to Jacksonville. We have Trevor saying A.D. Mitchell, which I think is a little rich for A.D. Mitchell at the moment. And Charlie has him with Terrion Arnold. I have them with Quinion Mitchell. I do think it's looking, as much as I do love Terrion Arnold, it's looking like Quinion Mitchell is going to be the first corner off the board. And if that's the case, I agree. He goes to Jacksonville. To the Bengals. Charlie has Tyler Gotton. Trevor has J.C. Latham. I agree with Trevor here. J.C. Latham, depending on who you read, J.C. Latham is either a top 6 pick or around the 20s. I'm kind of thinking about how teams perceive these guys. J.C. Latham, I think, is going to be seen below Talisa Fuaga. And if that's the case, I think he can get pushed all the way down to the Bengals, who needs tackle help. So this is great for Cincinnati, who needs to keep Joe Burrow upright. For the Rams, looks like Charlie has Latu, who's already gone, and Trevor has Johnny Newton. I think Byron Murphy II is going to be the first D tackle off the board now that Aaron Donald is retired, which Jason Kelce, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox all retiring the same offseason. It's a little nuts. But Byron Murphy here is, and I really do feel bad for Byron Murphy having to fill Aaron Donald's shoes. No matter how good he is in his career, he'll never be Aaron Donald good. That was a level of dominance for a decade that I've never seen before in my life. In anything, not just football. To be at the top of your game 10 straight years, never had a down year, that guy. Even with injuries, never had a down year. Truly, truly incredible. The Steelers. Charlie has the Steelers going for Xavier Worthy. I do trust Charlie. So maybe he is jumping on boards that fast, but we'll have to take a look at that. Trevor has Cooper DeJean. I have Terrion Arnold here. I think that they would like offensive line help. I think they would honestly like the Oregon center, but he's gone. I think you pair Terrion Arnold with Joey Porter Jr. and you have yourself a hell of a corner duo. Yes, I agree. If Jackson Powers Johnson is there, then you take him, but he's not. So we're going with Terrion Arnold and bolstering what's already, on its way to be a strength. Miami. We had Brock Bowers falling to Miami last time. That is no longer the case. So Trevor has Byron Murphy II going there. He's no longer available. Charlie has Troy Fautanu from Washington. Again, I keep butchering that kid's name. I'm so sorry. I also have him going there. The Dolphins actually, I know people aren't really not really looking to the Dolphins that much, but they really need line help. Like after this whole thing went down, they need line, and we're going to go deeper into the teams tomorrow. I have, not graphics, but I just took Madden screenshots because it's just easier to just do that than make 32 new graphics. I'll do that for later, but for right now, that's what I got. I was shocked about how light the offensive line is for Miami. So they need a tackle here. For the Eagles don't exist in it's funny, actually. In Trevor's mock, he has the Broncos trading up for Bo Nix here. Charlie has Nate Wiggins. I also have Nate Wiggins. Not that they desperately need cornerback help, but James Bradbury is on the wrong side of his career now. And honestly, Darius Slay is also pretty old. So getting some young blood in there at corner is the right move. Here is the Patriots. The Patriots made that trade in our mock with the Vikings. So now they have picks. They had pick 11 and 23. I think Gerard Mayo is going to build from the line out. So we gave them Olufashanu at pick 11, and now we're giving them Johnny Newton, the D tackle from Illinois, and they're building from the line out, which I think for a team that needs a lot of roster help, that's the right way to do it. For the Dallas Cowboys, it seems like this is going to be a tackle or offensive lineman of some sort. Losing Tyron Smith, they need help. The question is, do you move Tyler Smith from guard to tackle now? Possibly. It really depends on who you draft here, right? So there's talks about it being about being Graham Barton. That's who Trevor has, or Mims, the tackle from Georgia, who Charlie has. I think at this point, Mims is a bit higher on most teams' boards. I do like Mims a lot, but Mims is very much tackle. So I think you put Mims at tackle and you leave Smith at guard for now. But at least it gives you some options for that offensive line. And if he does hit, could be an incredible player. He doesn't have a whole lot of snaps, like under 1,000 snaps his entire 3-year career at Georgia. But the snaps he did play were pretty impressive. For the Packers, no consensus here between the two mocks. Tyler Nubin and Jordan Morgan. And I had Cooper DeJean. I think Cooper DeJean falling all the way at 25. I think you absolutely get him if you're Green Bay. That's a hell of a value to get him at 25. 26, the Buccaneers, Kool-Aid McKinstry. For Charlie, Jared Verse for Tampa. Jared Verse is already well gone for Trevor. I really think the Bucs need offensive line help. Tyler Gotton is there from Oklahoma, and I think that is probably the right move. The question is it Tyler Gotton or Graham Barton? I think Tyler Gotton's a little bit higher on teams' boards than Graham Barton at the moment. Now back to Arizona. Trevor hasn't taken the Florida State D tackle. I haven't really seen him a lot of first round mocks. We're probably going to pass that over. And then Johnny Newton for Charlie. I think if Kool-Aid McKinstry falls all the way to 27, Arizona's taken that. They need cornerback help. Kool-Aid at one point was talked about as a top 10 pick. So getting him here at 27 is a good move. 28, the Buffalo Bills. Charlie hasn't taken Brian Thomas. And so does Trevor. And actually, so do I. They need more receiver help with Gabe Davis gone. Plus, they added Curtis Samuel. It seemed there's always a question of, like, is Stephon Diggs on his way out? Not in terms of his career, but the cryptic tweets and whatever. So Brian Thomas Jr. here, adding a good deep threat. To the Detroit Lions, Trevor has him taking Jordan Morgan. Charlie has him taking Jackson Powers Johnson. I have them taking Graham Barton. I think Graham Barton was already gone. It was already gone in Trevor's mock. I think if that was the case, he would have put him there. So the Lions do need offensive line help with Jonah Jackson leaving. So they definitely need guard help. A lot of teams are projecting Graham Barton as a guard. So this makes sense. For Baltimore, Trevor has Xavier Worthy going there. Charlie has Darius Robinson, the D-tackle from Missouri, going there. I have Jordan Morgan going there. The Ravens, now that Morgan Moses is gone, like, they actually need, and they also lost John Simpson. They actually need offensive line help. So they address a need here. They're not going in as strong as some other teams. So they kind of need to take a tackle here. They probably could have, I think they would have rather take an AD Mitchell or Xavier Worthy there, but they need to fill that spot. There are not 5 starters currently on the Ravens roster. So you need Jordan Morgan. 31, the Niners. Chris Jenkins from Michigan is being talked about in Charlie's mock, and in Trevor's mock is Mims from Georgia. Mims is already gone in my mock. We're adding a new person to the mock here. I believe they need to bolster that edge group now that Chase Young is gone. Doesn't feel like he's coming back. Bringing in Chop Robinson to work alongside Nick Bosa, I think, makes a ton of sense. I know they added somebody else too. I'm blanking on. But there is another guy there. It's not like he'd have to step in to be a starter immediately, but he could start as a rotational guy, work his way into the as a starter. But I think that's the way to do it. And then finally, for the Kansas City Chiefs, Trevor has Tyler Gotton. He's already gone. And Charlie has Xavier Leggett. I think he'll be more of a second-round pick. I'm going to go with, even though they just got Hollywood Brown and the receiving core is looking nicer, it's a toss-up between AD Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, or Xavier Worthy as of right now, or even Xavier Leggett. I'm going to give it to AD Mitchell, but I think this is going to change a bunch over the next few weeks. So that is the results of the mock, the second mock of the year. So we'll be back to, how many times can I say so in a fucking podcast, right? We'll be back tomorrow, a longer podcast with the pre and post game host for the New York Giants, John Schmelk. We'll go over all of the moves that happened in free agency with graphics. And we will take a look at teams that have obvious needs and teams that are more prepared for the draft. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow.